podcast. The Idlecast.
In the great hall of the Justice League, there are assembled the world's greatest heroes, created from the cosmic legends of the universe.
Scott McDermott,
I was bit by a black widow in Hamul in my sleep.
Harrison Perkins,
Every muscle in my body is clenching right now.
And
Scott Clark,
You know, I would like to get to know a tarantula.
their mission to fight injustice, to right that which is wrong, and to serve all mankind.
ladies and gentlemen, the Super Friends.
Good morning, Vietnam!
We'll do it live. No. We'll do it live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
I mean, we don't kill him, obviously. I have a mask.
Okay, that's your idea? Exactly like in the movie? That is the most idiotic thing I've ever heard in my life.
Well, suggest something else then. Don't
He's
just
supposed to cut his leg off?
don't just criticize
See?
my idea. You think of something then.
Don't just criticize my ideas. You think of something.
You left out the best part of that clip. Did you see Saw? Have you? And then he says, "Of course I see Saw. Mose and I see Saw all the time."
Yeah, I saw.
And he says, "No. Did you see the movie Saw?"
Yeah, I did.
I don't think I remember that clip.
You don't remember when he said, "Did you see Saw?" And Dwight says, "Of course I see Saw. Mose and I see Saw all the time."
That sounds more familiar than the rest of it.
That was the clip because they wanted to take down Jim, and the way to take down Jim was to do a Saw style thing on him from that movie Saw, which I never saw. But the point is, did you see Saw?
I did. I left that out because I didn't know if anybody would get it. I mean, I got it, but I wasn't sure.
Half of our listeners would get it. The cool half.
The cool half.
The immature half. The half that listens because they think I'm entertaining.
You are. That's why I listen.
Well, are you not entertained?
I am.
We are entertained. So how are you boys?
So it's cold outside.
Oh, yeah. You want to trade cold stories?
So 6:30.
No, I want Dr. Clark to go because I'd rather hear it first than moan and complain and then hear about, oh, it was 82 degrees. It was a little chilly. There was a breeze coming in.
Actually, right now it's 45 and a high today of 67. It'll be sunny, but otherwise it's not, you know, it's actually a little chilly out. You have to bundle up a little bit to go out to walk, which I haven't done for several days. I've been a bad boy. I've been in the library working.
Oh, well, that's not bad.
Yeah. Well, how is it for you guys? Let's hear it.
6 inches of snow on Sunday. Had to get the snowblower out and clear the road up to the main road.
I was so impressed with the photo of your snowblower.
Took the Heidel blog mug with me
I saw that.
for inspiration
I saw that.
and moral support. Yeah, it was. I mean, it's not. If it was any other day, honestly, getting the snowblower out is kind of fun.
That's a very masculine looking snowblower.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's got a big spinning blade up in the front.
Yeah.
It's gas powered. It's gas powered. Yeah. I even did work on it on Saturday to make sure it was running.
Yeah. Well, you do. I mean, when you live in snow country, you have to prep your snowblower. You can't just haul that thing out after sitting for, 5 or 6 months or 7 months, however many months it's been.
Turns
right?
out the gas was bad. I had to change the gas.
Well, yeah, at the end of the season, you got to empty the tank. You can't leave gas in there.
To put stabilizer in it. This is the thing I've learned.
Yes. If you have a gas-powered vehicle and you're going to leave it, or a machine, whatever, you're going to let it sit. Yeah, you have to put stabilizer in there or empty the gas tank. But you can't just let gas sit in there. That's not good.
So somebody told me this week, though, that if you empty it, you won't be able to get all of it out. And then the bits that you leave, they'll get gooey. So actually, you need to leave some and add stabilizer.
Oh, okay. That's better. All right. Well, yeah, they would know. People who live in snow country deal with this all the time. So
I'm learning one step at a time.
Yeah.
So
well,
got the ice melt out, the salt out this morning, put some on the road and on the deck. So there we go.
The snow always beats me. I can never get the salt out first.
Oh,
because if you pre-salt, that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
If you know snow is coming,
So are you guys shoes off or shoes on in the winter when you come in the house?
all the time shoes off, never shoes on.
A lot of people in snow country, the rule is you got to take your shoes off when you come in. It was about half and half where I grew up. So it's because we were right on the sort of border. It's plenty snowy where I grew up, but it's not like it is in Minnesota or Michigan. So
Every house up here has like a snow room.
Yeah.
When you first walk in, it's lower than the rest of the ground on that level.
yeah,
So you take your shoes off, you take your jackets off, you take everything off.
Yeah.
That's going to make a mess. And then, we believe in germs, so we don't wear shoes in the house ever.
oh, interesting. Well, if you have a child crawling around,
Well, even when we didn't have a child, she
Okay.
doesn't crawl. Germs gross me out. It's like, I just think of public restrooms and
And how you walk in there? Yeah, I think about that.
yeah. So it's like, keep your public restroom feet out of my house.
oh,
And I don't care if people are offended when I tell them, take your shoes off as you come into my house. I have 6 signs that say shoes off in this house.
okay.
So
Do you provide any accommodation for people who are freaked out about taking their shoes off? In other words, do you have slippers for them, or
they can stay in my garage, as in the humans. They can stay in my garage.
no? I mean, but do you like, so if they don't want
That's
to go,
my accommodation. You don't have to come inside. You can stay in the garage.
Okay, all right. What if they have holes in their socks, or they have ugly socks, or they're
What if
self-conscious
they have
about
feet
their-
like Kevin from The Office?
I don't know what Kevin's feet are like.
They're the worst.
They're the worst.
They burned his shoes at the hotel.
And they incinerated them,
I suppose if you live in snow country, you're just used to taking your
taking
shoes
your
off,
shoes off.
and you know that you're going to have to, and so you prepare in advance.
I don't know. I'm not used to that. I'm a grown man. Like, actually enjoy being a man. Why would I take my shoes off with people? That's weird.
Do you put on slippers?
That's even less manly. That's like the other end. What are you doing?
Hold on. I have house slippers, right? I have house slippers for the upstairs and I have house slippers for the downstairs. I also have a robe that I put on and I have a pipe that I smoke.
Oh,
And I put my feet up and I do all those things.
Hmm.
And then my wife brings me my Manhattan. And I sit there and I drink it.
Okay, what is in a Manhattan?
No idea. I just made all that up.
Oh,
I was just trying to make Harrison mad.
I bet you own flip flops too.
Well, yeah, I'm from San Diego.
Yeah.
I'm wearing Hokas right now, and I like them very much. They're my favorite thing.
I used to get along with you guys.
Well, my Hokas are the favorite thing to put on my feet. I'm very happy that they've decided that we can have lots of cushion under our feet now, and that it's okay.
We've come a long way.
Yeah, Hokas have been really good. I'm happy about that. I don't accept your premise, Dr. Perkins, that slippers are not manly. I think that's false. I reject that.
House slippers are great.
I mean, they're kind of a delicate thing, aren't they?
No, there are manly slippers.
I mean, they're called slippers.
Well, that's because you slip them on. Well, does that mean you wouldn't wear slip-on shoes because they're not manly enough unless you tie them?
I'm wearing slip-on snowshoes right now. They're great. I'm not kidding. You know how easy it is to put on slip-on snowshoes?
Yeah, but you're not wearing them now.
I'm
In the
wearing them
house.
now. I'm not in the house. I'm in the church.
Oh, so you clump around in snowshoes like it's like a little tennis racket on your feet. You're clumping around in those?
You're thinking of cross-country skis.
No. I'm talking about snowshoes. I don't think you know what. No, those are not snowshoes. Those are boots. Snowshoes.
Snow boots.
If you look them up, snowshoes are like little tennis rackets.
I'm looking them up. Aren't those cross-country skis?
No, cross country.
Okay, what am I supposed to
No,
look
those
up?
aren't skis, but they are like
Snow
snowshoes?
boots.
No, so I mean, there have been times in my life when we had blizzards and people would go out in snowshoes.
No, okay, so I said snow boots.
No, you said snowshoes.
No, you said snowshoes.
Oh, I meant to say boots.
Okay, well that's why
So
it's
far,
confusing.
I think I'm the only one who hasn't made a mistake concerning footwear.
Well, I think that's hypothetical, Harrison.
Yeah, exactly. You're hypothetically inerrant.
This is the Heidelcast.
All right, so it's 19 here, and we got just as much snow as Harrison on Saturday night, Sunday morning, which is wonderful. You know, it's great because people don't like coming to church when the weather's perfect. So you add a few snow inches, and what do you have? Excuses.
Yeah, we were light on attendance on Sunday.
For the first time ever, we were not light on a snow day.
Good.
It was incredible. I don't know what happened. And then in the evening service, we had our Scottish feast. After the evening service, we had our Scottish feast.
So a bunch of bland stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. It was quite bland, except for the lamb that I made.
So was this a congregational activity?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Annual Scottish feast.
Your congregation and your area where you live, does it have a Scottish identity? I mean, I thought it was mostly Polish.
I would say it's a good split between maybe a third German, a third Polish, and then a third British.
Oh.
And when I say British, you know, there's quite a few Scots.
Oh, interesting.
And as you drive around, you know, our street names are named after the people who first came to this area 160 years ago.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Scottish names.
Okay. So there's
Scottish and Irish.
There's a tradition of Scottish presence.
We're also a Presbyterian church, and I really like to have themed meals.
Okay.
So lamb, roasted some lamb. I'm now 0 for 2 on roasting lamb.
What does that mean?
It means I kept it in too long. You got to do it rare. And I did medium rare, and by the time we ate it, it was medium. So let the listener understand I messed up again. But besides that, it was great. Good feast, good turnout.
Here's the question I have. Did you eat haggis? Because it seems like it's not really a Scottish meal if you didn't eat haggis. Because
if someone here knew how to make haggis, we would eat it. But
isn't that sort of the quintessential Scottish thing to eat? Haggis?
Haggis with neeps and tatties.
For sure we would eat it, but
you have to decode that, Harrison. What is that? Tell us.
Well, haggis is haggis.
Lamb bladder.
Say what that is. What is it?
Neeps and tatties, I believe, are turnips and potatoes.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's kind of a mash.
But yeah, explain what haggis is, though.
It's just a big. It's like a
lamb bladder
pile, but not anymore. They're not allowed to do it for real anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think that by health code they're
you can't get it here. You can't get real haggis here in America.
I don't think you can get it for real. I mean, somebody might be making it, but when you order it at a restaurant or something, it's not cooked in the bladder anymore.
Oh.
Speaking of non-manly, dang.
I'm given to understand that haggis is disgusting and that you have to be pretty hardcore Scots to eat haggis. That was
like
my
minced up lamb with oatmeal
and a meat
and oatmeal
casserole kind of thing.
I thought it was okay. I'm thinking about brains and intestines and things like that.
No,
I know the Scots were eating the Scots. So one of the problems when I lived in the UK was people eating brain, and they were worried about transmission of BSE, bovine spongiform encephalopathy. And so they were trying to make people or encourage them to stop eating brain. And then there were intestines. And that's what I was thinking. When I think of haggis, I think of intestines.
Okay, so maybe this is, interesting.
It's like the gizzard stuff, right? It's chopped up, it's minced up, and I thought it was mixed with oatmeal. Yeah, here it is.
Yeah, sheep's pluck, heart, liver, and lungs minced with onion, oatmeal, suet, and take a little bit of suet and put it in there. And spices then traditionally cooked in an animal's stomach. So maybe it is. I have had it twice.
Oh, interesting.
Once when I was young, and they still did it in the bladder. I saw them they did the ceremony and cut it open, and I was less a fan at that point. I had some at Deacon Brody's on Prince's Street in Edinburgh, and that one was good.
Oh, interesting.
It could have been that I was 12 on the first go. It could have been that I had no idea what was actually in this on the second go.
Well, this is the thing. So here's my theory. Every culture has soul food, right? When I was introduced to the family of the Heidelfrau, she, they're Swedes. And so on her mom's side. And we went out to Holdridge, which is mostly Swedes. And I was made to eat traditional Swedish food as a test of loyalty and commitment to the not yet Mrs. Clark. And I had to eat lutefisk. That was
That's what I was going to ask.
Rotten fish.
That was the main thing, which is dried fish that they reconstitute and clean in lye That tells you something. It has to soak in lye. Then they have to get the lye out, and then they bake it. And then to make it palatable to some degree, they cover it with a bland white sauce. And I ate that in 1981, the Christmas of 1981. So
was it good?
I met the future Mrs. Clark in August, and then she went off for Christmas, and I got lonely. So I called her up and asked if I could come out. And I drove out in my little
Bold.
Fiat.
Nice.
3.5 hours from Lincoln out to Holdridge, or 4 hours, whatever it was. I think 55 is about as fast as I can go, which back then was the speed limit. I had to eat lutefisk, and I ate lefse, and I had patatas curve, which was gross. Ustakaka was good, which you wouldn't think it was good.
Not by the name.
Given that it ends with kaka. But that just means cake.
Ustakaka. Yeah, I wouldn't think that's good.
What about the lutefisk? Was it good?
Oh, it was disgusting.
Really?
That's the stuff they open it and like the smell knocks you out, right?
So like I actually am really interested in trying like main cultural staple foods.
I think you should. But this is Swedish soul food. This is the stuff that people eat when they couldn't afford to eat anything else. So in the South, right, so what we call soul food is really stuff that you ate when you couldn't afford to eat high on the hog. You literally ate low on the hog.
Gotcha. I did not know where that saying came from.
So my mom's family, they did not grow up eating high on the hog. So I grew up eating some soul food. And it's the stuff you eat when you can't afford to eat other stuff.
Yeah, but pork loin is pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I love barbecue. I mean, so
pig feet, pickled pig feet.
I won't eat that.
Pig snout, cheese, head cheese. That's something here. They love head cheese. This is a pork area. They didn't know what to do with lamb.
Head cheese is brains. You know that, right? Cheese is a euphemism.
I don't think it's brains anymore because Kogel's makes it. So I think it's just snouts and ears and tails and
it used to. I'm pretty sure
other
it used
body
to be
parts.
brains.
Probably did. Okay, so can we do a shout out? You know how everyone thinks I hate Canadians?
Well, I wonder why they think that.
No, I like Canadians. So can I do a shout out?
Sure.
As we discussed on a recent podcast, turns out I am 1% Nova Scotia. So I am Canadian. So when I make fun of Canadians, I'm really just making fun of myself.
That's just New Scotland.
Exactly.
Your genetic history keeps developing. I don't understand that.
Well, I lost 1% of my Scottish ancestry and now I'm Nova Scotia. So it's not different, but
I don't understand. How can your genetic history keep changing?
They just get more samples from all around the world. And so it's not that it's changing. It's just being developed. It's getting more particular. Whereas my wife stays exactly the same. Kind of funny. Shows exactly what village she's from. For me, it just spreads out throughout the whole world. All right. So here's the shout out.
Is your wife Aztec?
She is.
Oh, so how do you sleep?
How do I sleep?
Yeah.
I wait till she goes to sleep and then I sleep.
Yeah, work to stay on her good side.
She sleeps with a giant knife under the pillow.
You better be good. Okay, tell us. I want to hear the shout out for the Canadians.
I'm not sure if you two remember him, but David Stairs was a classmate of mine. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's pastoring in New Zealand now. So
is he a Kiwi?
No, he's Canadian.
Okay. Oh, that's right. You said that.
I can't remember exactly, but I think he's from Ontario. So he listens to the show.
Hi, David.
And
hey, David.
His response to my shout out last week being Canadian, 1% at least, is, haha, thanks for the name drop, my fellow Canadian.
Okay.
Because we gave him a shout out last week. So here comes a double shout out to David Stairs, pastor in New Zealand. And that's right, David, we are together Canadians. And second shout out goes to URCNA missionaries from British Columbia, Aaron and Amy Lou Shoup and their family. They were in our worship service in the evening. They're visiting. They're from here originally, or at least he is.
Oh,
and
nice.
He's now Canadian. She's from Canada. So shout out to them and the work that they do with the refugees. They were in Africa and now they're in British Columbia.
And who's the sending church? Do you know?
He said it's a rather large congregation, something like 250. And he said it's about 10 hours north of Vancouver. So it's way up there.
Oh, and that's where they're working.
Ooh, that's a good question. I think they're working
in BC with refugees.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to meet up with him later today and get some more details.
Oh, fantastic.
But yeah, Aaron and Amy Lou Shoop and the kids.
Oh, great.
Shout out. And I did mention their Canadianness, and she thought it was hilarious. So Canadians love me.
Okay. All right. We got a nice note from Steve Lee, who says, I just found an old post of yours titled Why We Catechize Children and was encouraged very much by it. I've been catechizing my grandchildren with good results. I'm also teaching the creeds, confessions, and catechisms to my adult Sunday school class with the goal of showing them that we must use these means to show how our Christian forefathers preserved the great doctrines of the faith and why we must do the same. Your article has given me more logical reasons I can impart to others so that I can teach them also. This is from Steve Lee in Prescott Valley, Arizona. Prescott. You have to say it correctly. So thank you, Steve. That's encouraging. Prescott Valley. All right. We're just about ready to open the coffer.
Let's do it.
Okay. Stand by.
The Hydrocast.
In a world marked by uncertainty and anxiety, Christians wonder, am I really saved? Does God still love me? Can I still trust his promises? These are important questions. Westminster Seminary, California invites you to consider them with W. Robert Godfrey, Michael Horton, David Van Drunen, Joel Kim, and R. Scott Clark in an evening and a morning of biblical teaching, encouragement, and refreshment on Blessed Assurance, resting in the promises of God. Friday evening, January 23rd, and Saturday morning, the 24th. To register and find out more, go to wscal.edu/conference. wscal.edu/conference. Or call 760-480-8474. Blessed Assurance, resting in the promises of God, featuring W. Robert Godfrey, Michael Horton, David Van Drunen, Joel Kim, and R. Scott Clark. January 23rd and 24th. wscal.edu/conference. wscal.edu/conference.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Super Friends.
Hydrocast.
All right. Here it is. This is from Brent.
Hi.
Who texted us. And he says, hello, Dr. Clark and Super Friends.
Hey there, Brent.
That would be you guys. Some say things such as, God couldn't have made heaven without you. Like a rose trampled on the ground. And how extremely valuable we are to God that he has saved us, which are obviously unbiblical. On the other end, I heard a sermon today that basically made human beings out to be refuse. How do we deal with being made in the image of God? Human beings still have intrinsic worth, do they not? Thanks, Brent. All right. So the question is, how do we thread the needle between God needs us and we are intrinsically trash? Did I get that? Is that fair? A fair summary of Brent's question?
Yes, that seems right.
So how do you boys go at this? And where should we start with a question like this?
Via media. I'll let Harrison elaborate.
And what's that mean?
Perhaps there's a middle route or way to understanding this. And, I trust Harrison on these kind of things. So what would you say, Harrison? Dr. Middleway Perkins?
Yeah, I have been known for my strident third wayism. I guess I don't even know what that
strident
really is, but
strident middle wayism.
Oh, I
You're
think
fierce.
that's a contradiction in terms.
Middle wayism.
Third wayism is it's really a cultural political category. People accuse Al Mohler and others of being third wayists. I think there was actually a formal movement to that end saying we're neither left nor right, we're a third way. And so,
does it just mean you have criticisms of both sides?
I think it means more than that.
Okay.
But
I was going to say, so maybe I'm more of that than I thought.
I haven't paid a great deal of attention. For what it's worth, I think we ought to start with Genesis 1:26, which is always seems like a good place to start when you're doing.
Would you like to read that for us?
Anthropology. I would.
In Hebrew?
No, I'm gonna do it in English. Nobody needs to hear me try to sound out Hebrew. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image." As I said, this is the ESV. After our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. So God made man in his image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female. He created them. And then just to finish out, and God blessed them. And God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over every living thing that moves on the earth." And then it goes on. So one of the things we know from sort of traditional Reformed theology and from traditional Christianity is that there are two categories, right? Nature and grace. And this is fundamental to nature. This is the state of things, the nature of things. Human beings are made in God's image. And he's given us, as a creational matter, a mandate to procreate and to exercise dominion, which has to be understood correctly, stewardship of the earth, not abuse. People here today, they hear dominion and they think abuse, but that's not what Genesis has in mind. So having children is good, by the way. That's another episode, but in case anybody was wondering, should I have children? All things being equal, yes, you should have children. Well, that would be a topic for a future episode. The reluctance of even Christians now to have children.
I laugh more since I've had my son than before. It's good.
When I was at the end of seminary, we were so thinking about the Great Commission. There was an idea that affected me that the Great Commission replaces this natural commission. And I think that's a mistake. And I think I was persuaded by that idea that the Great Commission replaces the creation mandate because I didn't have a place for creation as such in my thinking. I mean, I thought I did, but I didn't really because I didn't have a clear idea of nature and grace. In fact, if you'd asked me back then what I thought of nature and grace, I would have said, well, that's some crazy Thomistic thing, because the only thing I ever read about nature and grace was criticism of it from Neo-Kuyperians. But anyway, that's another episode. So
well, maybe we should do that in another time, but that's an interesting idea. Not to say that I'm buying into it, but I wonder if there's something that could be interesting fodder for discussion.
Yeah. Not to say I'm in no way opposed to the Great Commission. I just doubt now that the Great Commission replaces the creational mandate.
Yeah, replaces doesn't seem like a...
That's the issue.
Yeah.
Enhances?
Well, maybe, but grace, yeah, that's right. Or perfects, you could say that, to use the traditional language.
So that's I was going to say, what if it sharpens it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right. But my thinking back in the 80s, say 85, 86, 87 was that, it was basically, I'd say it was quasi-Anabaptist, because grace in that way wipes out nature. I didn't have any place for nature.
I think because within Reformed churches, one of the things going on there is one of the ways that we achieve the Great Commission is by
having children.
Yeah.
And if you'd asked me, I would have said, yeah, that's right. So I was incoherent. I hadn't thought it through, in part because I didn't have the category, right? I'd never read anything positive about distinguishing nature and grace and then thinking through my responsibilities in both of those spheres. And
so as to the question in front of us, though.
Yes, Brent's question.
So one of the things, I guess, to start off with, the second quote, so we've got, some say such things as, quote, God couldn't have heaven without you, end quote, and then second quote, like a rose trampled on the ground, end quote, and how extremely valuable we are to God that he saved us.
I don't even know what that means.
So, well, like a rose trampled on the ground is actually a line from a Michael W. Smith song, and it's not about, the reference is not about us, but about Christ as he was crucified, and I'm not endorsing it.
Where's the cowbell? Harrison just endorsed this song.
No, Michael W. Smith does some good songs.
I'm not criticizing it either. I'm just situate. I mean, I understand it could be taken too far, but in terms of the metaphor is Christ is beautiful and was disfigured. I'm like, well, okay, that it's not.
I mean, that's Isaiah 52, 53, something like that.
Yeah, so it's not wildly off base. if someone then were to redeploy this metaphor in application to us, then I guess that's a different thing. So when it says God couldn't have heaven without you.
Yeah, that doesn't.
I guess I want to say, well, God has decided not to have heaven without us. It was not a hands wringing, oh my goodness, I am so distraught now that I don't have these people. But he has decided that this is what he wants. And so there is, I guess, in terms of applying this to the elect, I would be very happy to say, instead of God couldn't have heaven, God won't have heaven without you.
Yeah.
He will not abide for it to be the case that you won't be there, because that's what's going to happen. And that does flow out of his great love for his people. And so God has made some sort of statement about us. I mean, this is, I think in terms of Colossians 2 about this, that we have this great record of debt, and this he has set aside, nailing it to the cross.
Yeah.
That is some statement of at least his affection, if not an intrinsic value that we have as sinners to him, but the value that he has given to us in deciding to love his elect. He has made a statement about how much he has affection for us in that he crucified the Son.
So we are image bearers before the fall, and we're image bearers after the fall. And the image isn't utterly wiped out or destroyed or blotted out. People get misled by the traditional language of obliterated, because we think, when we hear obliterated, we think somebody dropped a bomb and everything's, blown up into a million little pieces. And that's not what it means. It means to paint over or to disfigure. So it's been disfigured, but it's still there. And so contrary to those people who say that the image is utterly gone from us, that's not true. But it is corrupted, it is disfigured, and yet we are image bearers, even in sin, even outside of a state of grace. We are still image bearers. That's true. But it's also not true. At least we don't confess that God had to save us. We say that God freely chose to save us. I'm looking at, for example, Belgic Confession Article 15. It talks about how we fell into sin. And, that's our fault. We did that. We chose to sin by the disobedience, we say, of Adam. Original sin has been spread through the whole human race. It is a corruption of all nature, an inherited depravity, which even if infects small infants in their mother's womb, and the root which produces in man every sort of sin. And it goes on to say it's therefore so vile and enormous in God's sight that it's enough to condemn the whole human race. We never say that God couldn't be without us, because, of course, there was when he was without us. And we are not necessary to God's being. We're not necessary to God's happiness. We're not necessary to his contentment. But we say that he freely chose. And that's why in Article 16 in the Belgic, the Reformed churches confess, we believe that all Adam's descendants, having thus fallen into perdition and ruin by the sin of the first man, God showed himself to be, as he is, merciful and just. He's merciful in withdrawing and saving from this perdition those whom he, in his eternal and unchangeable counsel, has elected and chosen in Jesus Christ our Lord. And then how do we characterize that? By his pure goodness, without any consideration of their works. And he's just in leaving others in their ruin and fall into which they plunged themselves. So this is down to God's will. It's down to his goodness. It's down to his mercy. It's down to his grace. But if it's the case that he can't be without us, then how could you have any allowed to remain in the fall into which they plunged themselves? That doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't really account for Scripture. So we talk about God's goodness, his grace, his mercy. Same thing in Article 17. We made ourselves miserable, and he comes graciously to redeem us, to make the promise to send his Son, born of a woman, to crush the head of the serpent and to make him blessed. I think those are the confessional categories, and I think the Westminster Divines say something substantially similar.
And I imagine the the language of couldn't is not the philosophical sense of, it could not be otherwise, but it's an emotional statement.
Yeah.
And I mean, that probably does not account for how we think of impassibility, that we can't force God to feel any certain way. God has decreed his disposition toward us and, toward every moment eternally, and that is unchanging. And so when he has set his love upon someone, that can't change, but it's also not because that thing has forced him to feel that love. Luther's famous quote, right? God's love does not find what it loves, but creates it. I butchered that a little bit, but that is the gist of it.
Yeah.
And
I mean, John 3:16 is true. I don't want the listener to think, oh, well, you guys, you're so philosophical and theological and technical that you've forgotten John 3:16. Well, no, not at all. For God so loved the world, which we understand as sinners, that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world might be saved through him. Whoever believes in him is not condemned, but whoever does not believe is condemned already because he has not believed in the name of the only Son of God. So we affirm that heartily. God loves his people from all eternity, and he loves sinners. That's true. But you can't extrapolate from that to say that God would not be content, that God would be lonely, because I've heard people say that. They mean well, and they're trying to communicate God's affection for sinners. I appreciate that. But you don't want to create a picture whereby God is somehow incomplete. I mean, it's the kind of language we use about romantic relationships. I wouldn't be complete without Mrs. Clark, which would be true. I mean, we are one flesh. And
yeah, but you're not God.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right. Would be that. That's a huge point that has to be emphasized.
Just for the listeners to make.
It's just, let's be perfectly clear that, human beings are creatures. So there are analogies between creatures and the Creator, but there are disanalogies, if that's a word.
That's one of the things that grounds, this side of it is there is value. I mean, God made a creature to bear his image. And that means, of course, God values his own nature. I mean, his own character. He has to love what is good and holy and right. And he is the source of all of that. And inasmuch as he made a creature that would instantiate his attributes in a communicable way.
Call or text now, 760-618-1563.
Instantiate. You're going to have to define that. Instantiate. That's not a word that 97% of our listeners use.
I didn't even hear it. I thought you said substantiate until Dr. Clark.
I was running through the list of verbs. That one seemed the most precise. Instantiate. So provide an instance of.
Okay.
Or create an instance of. Something becomes an instance, an example, or a situation in which this is the case. So creatures made in the image of God are an instance where there is this particular analogy in a more specific way. It's not just analogical existence, but in a specific way, we are the analogy of our Creator.
Yeah.
And so, his fitting covenant partner, not because of something in us, but because he made us that way. So it wasn't accidental. He designed us to be that way. And so in that respect, well, of course he has particular affection for his image bearers because we are his image bearers, but that's not something we forced upon him. That's something he decreed to do. You read the intra-Trinitarian deliberation of sorts. This is accommodated language, of course. They're not actually devising a plan, but Genesis provides this snapshot into the divine rationale for why he would make an image-bearing creature. And then, yet at the same time, on the other side of this, there is a sense where by our sin, we have really distorted that feature about us that God would love in that special way. We've rebelled against him. We've become, we're traitors. We've committed treason against the Lord who made us to be his covenant partner. And the question is, made human beings out to be refuse. Well, we are fit to discard into hell as sinners.
I'm a worm and not a man.
Yeah, so there's something to that, but you can take aspects of truth from either side and you can ignore the aspects of truth from the other side, and then your rhetoric is going to run off the rails, and you've not threaded the needle the right way.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I wonder if it's helpful if we just encourage people to stick with biblical language.
Yeah.
And then maybe if they want to add to that, rather than being too artsy or romantic, to use confessional language. And if you really want to get fluffy with it, read the Puritan stuff. I know we don't like that word, but you know what I mean.
No, I think that's right.
I like it. You guys just defined it the wrong way.
Yeah. So be that as it may, I think that's right. American evangelicals are fond of romanticizing and sentimentalizing things. And that's understandable when you're trying to communicate biblical truth to people. You're looking for ways to do it. But when you don't have the guardrails of the Westminster Standards or the Belgic Confession or the Heidelberg Catechism or the Canons of Dort to guide you, and you choose other ways of speaking, other categories, other analogies, then I think you can get into trouble. And I think this is one of those times.
Could not is a bad way to talk about things concerning God. I will say things like God would not have it be so. But that's also because I have scripture to say, well, he's decided it won't be this way, so I know he would not have it be so.
It is a question with Anselm and Athanasius both, right? Whether they intended to say that human beings having fallen had to be redeemed. And typically they're understood to have said something like this, that God was not willing to allow them, and he was not to remain in condemnation, and he was not willing that his original plan for fellowship between God and man to be frustrated. And sometimes that gets translated into could and would language.
But Anselm's argument is all about not what's necessary, but most fitting.
That's right. But it does come up. That question does come up. But you're right. In fact, that's true for Athanasius too. And they both turn to fittingness language. So we could maybe translate that as appropriate, because that's the fundamental issue for both of them. Is it appropriate that God the Son should become incarnate? And obviously the answer we say is yes. They're defending the appropriateness of the incarnation.
So rhetoric is helpful. It can bring home points emotionally, to land in our hearts and help us comprehend the truth in new respects. But the rhetoric is not the substance.
Yeah.
And so we shouldn't ignore, we shouldn't lean into rhetoric and turn it into the whole truth. We should recognize it for what it is. Rhetoric is a way to bring home a truth in a powerful way. And so we shouldn't, turn the dressing into the substance. And that helps us keep balanced on this.
Thanks for listening. Tune in tomorrow for more from the Heidelcast, brought to you by Heidelberg Reformation Association.org. Don't forget, when the coin in the coffer clinks, the cost of bandwidth shrinks. Copyright Heidelberg Reformation Association. All rights reserved. This is a Heidel Media production.
The best podcast